All right, I think we're here. Hello and welcome to Musikfest 2024. Yay, that's what everybody screams, everybody in the back there.
Calm down.
Thousands await this podcast.
So many people here. George Wacker with Lehigh Valley with Love. I'm here with Dahlia, of course, the mayor of the city of Bethlehem, J. William Reynolds, and Kassie Hilgert, the proud leader of Arts Quest, here to talk about Musikfest 2024. We wanted to kick it off, though, with Dahlia real quick. Dahlia, what are you looking forward to the most at Musikfest?
The Aw Shucks corn.
The Aw Shucks corn. And I heard there is an Aw Shucks eating contest this year. How do you think you would do?
Better than everybody.
Better
than everybody.
It's throwing the gauntlet down.
Aw Shucks corn, we're coming for you. Is there anything else you're looking forward to this year?
Maybe like the bouncy castles and houses in Musikfest.
Yeah, all the fun stuff, the bouncy castles and the kids stuff. Absolutely. If you see Dahlia down there, say hi to us, and we have a Fest Friend necklace for you.
Whoa.
Because we're giving these out to all our Fest Friends at Musikfest. So, Dahlia, thank you so much. Give me a hug. Happy Musikfest.
Good luck.
Right.
Good luck finding that corn.
Yeah, shouldn't be that hard.
Yeah.
But no, it's important to go over. We went down this weekend, the first day, and scoped out all the kid stuff. You should start getting into this now with your fester and training.
Yeah, Leo. He's almost 1 year old. He'll be 1 on Sunday. So this is his first Musikfest, and it has been exciting. I think we came down yesterday, walked around for a while. He had his first fest experience. So yeah, we're excited. Thankfully, he's not running around yet and crawling and asking for corn, but that'll come soon.
Or trying to enter the corn contest, which is, I'm very proud that was her own idea.
Yeah.
It's like after my heart. That's something I would.
As far as the corn contest, I don't know if I'm concerned that the rules had to specify it had to be eaten horizontally.
Oh, is that what it is?
Oh, wow.
I caught that and I got stuck there.
Well, it must be because there must be a method vertically that
It must be. I'm not familiar with that method.
does it really quickly.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
As great as the Aw Shucks conversation has been here about corn contests, Kassie, it's Musikfest.
Musikfest, we're excited. We are on Monday. We've got a hell of a lineup today. If you're looking around, check out Lily Moss, who is a Bethlehem native. She released her first single in May, had 2,500 streams immediately. She's at Lagerplatz at 1. How can you not go wrong with Saxsquatch, which is at 7 o'clock at Air Products America Plus. The guy dresses up as Bigfoot and plays covers with a saxophone. And then one of my personal favorites is here at PNC Stadtplatz at 7:30, Derek Herman's and the Hookers.
Oh, yeah. Well, Kassie jumped right into what she's doing today. But dude, this is the first time we're doing this on Monday rather than on Thursday. I think we did the last couple years.
Yeah, it's fun to you're in the middle of it now. So.
Yeah, absolutely. We've started. So Kassie, what are your kind of takes on your first weekend here that we got in the books?
Yeah, first weekend was strong. Preview night with Greta Van Fleet sold out. Great to have him here. The first weekend was good. Saturday we had a little Liquid Sunshine, but the diehard festers came out. Volunteers did great. Staff did great. This year we've got 42% of the performers are new. The first time ever at Musikfest.
Wow,
that's pretty amazing.
That's awesome. So what was the performance you caught this weekend that I know, like I said, Greta Van Fleet was great, Shinedown was great. What was the one that you kind of saw that you were like, oh my gosh, like I can't believe this is Musikfest?
So I'm terrible with names, but at Plaza Trop there was a duo who graduated from Juilliard on violin and bass.
Yes.
Wow.
That did covers. They're coming back at Levitt later. But they had a packed venue. It's that unexpected band you don't expect to see when you walk up.
Yeah.
And they're playing classical instruments doing rock covers. And
Yeah.
it was pretty spectacular in that tent.
I think it's one of those things that's underestimated about Musikfest is that idea that like you don't know what's going to happen.
Yes.
And everything now is so curated. If you're looking at Spotify, you know what's coming next, or algorithms and things like that. There is no algorithm for walking around Musikfest.
No AI, no algorithms.
No,
It is
and
authentic.
you don't know who you're going to run into. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what band you're going to listen to.
Yes.
And it's one of the things that's like special about Musikfest.
It's completely special. It's the cooperation with the city and with the volunteers and with all the vendors, the 58 food vendors that are here. They're all here to put on a show for the country and the world.
And we talk about this, and this is something I talk about a lot, but can you just explain for a couple of minutes everything that goes into the festival. People, I think, oftentimes think like, oh, this is a free music festival, but can you just talk about all the incredible work that goes on over a year to be able to set this up?
I appreciate that, Mayor. We already have offers out for the Wind Creek Steel Stage next year, so it's truly year-round. But what happens here is, throughout the year, we have a music arts committee made up of volunteers. They get over 1,200 submissions for 500 spots. We have submissions for the food vendors, so you've got to submit to be able to get into it. We've got a committee that works on that. We have 300 committee members that make sure this is curated, whether it's food or music. Then we've got the city and all they do to make this happen. The 12 law enforcement agencies, 500 volunteers a day on site, and they go through training ahead of time. This only happens because the entire community wants to welcome the country and the world to the nation's largest free music festival. So it's a culmination of a year's worth of work, and we're already starting on next year.
Yeah, it's amazing when you talk to people and you understand how many different things, or what Music Fest means to people and how different it is.
Yes.
For a volunteer, it's something that they do with their wife or their husband or whoever it might be. For a small business, it's something that they come down and they can be a part of the community. They can see people they don't always see. And then obviously the artists and the musicians. And it's just, it's one of the special things is we're going to get over 1 million people, but they're all here for a different reason.
All for a different reason, and they will leave with their new favorite band.
Yeah.
And that's what I love the most, is they came for one band, and then they were wandering around, and that's what you see posted on social media. Came for fill in the blank,
Right.
left with my new favorite band, fill in the blank.
Or new friends. I saw there was an article the other day about somebody met their husband here. It was a
We
Lehigh
have
Valley. Yeah.
So many weddings and marriages that actually happen on stages here. So we like to think, actually heard of a new thing on social media this year, which is those that are expecting their first child, this is a thing, parents buy the mug and they hold it for 21 years.
Really?
That's a thing.
So we just have like 9 mugs in our house. Can we just hold those for 21 years for Leo or not?
No, you can use those at any time.
Okay.
But I say buy one every year for Leo, just to commemorate his
Gotcha. It was great to walk down the street with him yesterday and just see him taking it in for the first time.
Yep.
Because just think to myself, like, you have no idea. Like you have no idea. He's walking, there's ice cream, there's corn, there's just, people, strollers, non-strollers,
Hopefully we tired
horses.
him out so he can go to bed early.
Yeah, he did. He did. Thankfully.
You're welcome.
Yes, I appreciate that.
It's funny, as you guys are talking, people are already telling us that the band that you mentioned is called Arkai, A-R-K-A-I.
Thank
so
you.
Mark Riddle from New Bethany
We know Mark
shared
Riddle
them
well.
yesterday. And then your next favorite band, our buddy Phil Reese, is like, that's Arkai. So it's fun that even when you mention, like, hey, we saw this band, 30 other people, well, not more than that did. I mean, they're going to let you know, like, I forgot the name, no problem. They're going to let you know who it was.
Yeah, I'm
So
the last
fun.
person to ask, like, who's playing right now. If you want to know what our insurance is, I'll be happy to tell you that. But as far as bands, that's what I love about our programming department and the volunteers that help pull it together. They theme days, whether it's at fest plots, they're making sure that we're representing all the different genres and trying to stay ahead of the curve and find those, what's going to be the viral hit, which I keep saying is going to be Sasquatch tonight.
Yeah, I mean, he's playing a couple times, right?
He is playing a couple times. I think he's going to give Igor a run for his money as far as a spectacle on a stage.
I think you talked about just how many different stages we have, different, as someone that has been to so many Music Fests over the year, it's remarkable about how different Music Fest is in 2024 than it was 30 years ago. And I mean that in the best way possible, is that it might look different, you have different vendors, you have different musicians, different styles of music, but it's much more diverse, and I think it's just a representation, too, of our community. It's that it's changed a lot, but the essential quality is that we're coming together to be a part of something together that is bigger than all of us. Like I was saying this to somebody the other day, is that like so many things in 2024, like if you want, you can try to be like, I am bigger than this thing. Like this is me.
Yep.
But in Music Fest, it's too big for all of us.
No.
We're all equals.
You're hitting the message nail on the head. The beauty of Music Fest is it must change and reflect the community that it serves, but it also has to have the traditions in it. And tradition is walking around. Never underestimate the power of walking down the street holding a beer. People love that.
Yeah. But
we've changed where venues are, and I think one of the most beautiful ones is PNC Stock Plots. I mean, this view, this area is so gorgeous. It happened thanks to you, Mayor, and we have to expand, contract, move, always evolve. Otherwise, you're not keeping up with what's happening.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, this stage, like, when you come up here and you're telling people, like, this has only been, what, like 3 years since you took office? So,
This is
like,
the third year.
This is the third year. And, this has been a favorite now for people already. Like, this is the place that they'll maybe go to and they'll dip down on the main street, but some of them will even congregate up here for all day. I mean, it's beautiful. It's wonderful.
And what I think is huge this year too was Lanta and the Bethlehem Parking Authority
Yes.
creating the new service that connects the festival from down below to up here. Because it is 2 hills if you're down at Festplatz to get up here, and that can be a little bit of a chug. Although it lets you eat anything you want. But we love that they came to the table. They came to us and said, how do we move people around better?
Yeah.
And that's amazing. So you can hop on a Lanta bus and it'll drop you right here at Fancy Shop Bus.
Yeah, and one of the things that we are often are talking about is that idea of Musikfest is that the people own the streets. Like it's not, the streets don't belong to the cars. And the other 355 days a year, we generally are at, the desires and the whims of drivers. But, one of the things that makes Musikfest so special is the fact that, we get to walk around. People often talk about how it's, similar to when you get to walk around the streets of Europe and things like that. And it just shows you what a walkable city can do. And institutions like the Bethlehem Parking Authority just assist with that. Their goal is to help move cars, to be able to get people in and out. And that level of cooperation, I think, is it's just the beginning of, really improving how we move people around this place.
And then when you're walking in the middle of the street, you get a different view of the city, right? You're walking down, you can look up, you see things differently, and they get to see our history, which for the first time ever this year, Musikfest is happening within Bethlehem, which is now a
World Heritage Site.
Yeah.
It is, if you see the bags under my eyes, it's because I got back from India a few days ago with our delegation. If you're wondering, that 16-hour flight, 9.5-hour time difference.
I was watching you at 3 in the morning. It was amazing to see because when you're seeing all the delegations and they have United States in front, it was a very UN feel.
Yeah.
And then when you're talking and President Grigsby from Moravians there, you had goosebumps. How can you not?
It was. We were the ones in India, but I mean, this has been a process that's been going on over 20 years, and actually probably almost 300 years. But I mean, Charlene Donches-Maurer has kind of got this ball rolling over 20 years ago, and we were in India largely because of her and others' work over a number of years. But I think one of the challenges for us, or the opportunities, is it's not just a recognition for who the Moravians were or what our buildings are, but those qualities that are just at the central of what we think about as a community. That it's about fairness, it's about equality, it's about opportunity. That's what the Moravians have always stood for. That's the community we have created, and that's something that the whole world is taking note of.
The Moravians were first in so many things, and that's, I think, is a characteristic of Bethlehem. How can we make things better? What can we be first at? How can we make sure everyone is represented? That's what the Moravians did, whether it's educating women or God's Acre. There was an equality and an equity that they knew would sustain their community, and I think that continues today, and that's the spirit of Bethlehem.
Yeah, and it's the spirit of Musikfest too. It's not just about you. And I've said that a lot, as one of the things that we always try to stress in the city of Bethlehem is just because you have yours doesn't mean you shouldn't help other people get theirs. And that wasn't an idea that I created, and it wasn't an idea we created. It came from the founding of the Moravians here in our community. Is that everybody matters, and everybody should have opportunities. And I think that one of the things World Heritage, and it was really amazing, George. You talk about the UN feel to it. You had these people coming from all these different countries that were coming up to you and talking to you about how special this is. And we have this four-way nomination, now four-way site between Denmark, Northern Ireland, Germany, and the United States that really, truly, as I said, it's not just about the buildings. It's about the cultural significance, about those ideas of community, which we think are just who we are in Bethlehem, but even to the rest of the world. They were like, this is fantastic. And the words, if you watch the live stream, you heard our friends from Saxony and other places talking about just the kind of responsibility we have in the future. Not just to pat ourselves on the back and say, good job, we're part of this great club, but how do we turn this into something that benefits everybody, to benefit all 78,000 people living in the city of Bethlehem.
And to be the light, right? So sort of the beacon of here's what happens when you focus on those values and what that can mean. That attracts people who want to move here. And just like we talked about the Rudy Bruner Award and the Urban Land Institute Award for Steel Stacks, World Heritage is a beacon to the rest of the world to say there's something special and different happening in Bethlehem. You need to come see it.
Yeah, and I thank Charlene, but the other person that all of us in India were thinking about, and I know he was a great friend of Musikfest too, is Bishop Hopeton Clement. And he has just been, I think, for so many of us in our community, he was a leader. He was somebody that lived his faith. that was always challenging people to self-reflect. As I always say, is the goal, as Hopeton would say, it's not to come and you did the good thing because you came to service on Sunday. It's that you're leaving inspired to do good things. And I know he was a great friend of Musikfest as well.
He was, and I loved his opening prayers when he would do opening ceremony. And Hopeton, to me, every time I saw his face, it felt like a hug.
Yeah.
And he was a person who welcomed anyone and wanted you to sit next to him and enjoy where he is at, and he met you where you were at, and he was a light that continues to shine over this festival.
Yeah, and his spirit is, as we say, it's the best of us, and I think anybody that ever met him, he had a power to him because he spoke the truth and he was always open, and he didn't, and also a humility that he was a bishop, he was a big deal, but you would never know that from talking to him.
Never didn't have a smile.
No, exactly.
One of my favorite memories of his is a Musikfest one. It was last year. We presented, we introduced a band on stage, one of the main stage, and he did as well. And he was right behind us. And it's kind of just a fun thing to think of how your Moravian bishop is going on in front of this huge crowd with that attitude. He's got a Bob Marley shirt on and introduced it. And it's just amazing to be a part of that. And we're like, we have to get a selfie of this.
I'm going to give a shameless plug for closing ceremonies, because there may be a moment there that will be special for Hopeton and his entire family in the Central Moravian community.
Yeah, so closing ceremonies, which were going to be opening ceremonies. Correct. So then there was a little rain on Friday night, so that's been moved to this Sunday at 11:30 a.m.
Correct, at Festplatz. It'll be broadcast by our friends at Service Electric, and I think it'll be a special moment, not just for Hopeton, for so many people that help to support the festival, and just demonstrates that how we have to be nimble, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't work for opening ceremonies. Now what do we call it? Let's call it closing ceremonies, and we'll do it on Sunday right after church at Festplatz.
Absolutely. And Leo's birthday.
It is.
I know.
We threw him a party.
Leo was just like, I got to do what? He's like, I'm out. That's not what I thought. It's not what I thought we were gonna do. But don't worry. I've told him that once or twice.
So Kassie, you said don't put you on the spot, but I'm going to. Mark Riddle actually asked about the new Eventi Verticali Sphere? Yes. So can you talk a little bit about that?
August 9th through the 11th. It's going to be next weekend. So it is a group from Italy. Musikfest, we have the live performers, we have the food, but we also try to bring in a spectacle. And for Sphere, this is the first time they're in the United States ever.
Wow.
So they suspend literally a see-through sphere about 30 to 40 feet in the air. There's a huge crane. They will perform dances around it and on it. So it's a true spectacle. Same spot this weekend. We've got BMX, or this past weekend, we've got BMX races there, and we've got cast and bronze. But Sphere is going to be an unbelievable spectacle next year, or next weekend, August 9th to the 11th.
And I love how you activated that space that you're talking about where Cast and Bronze is.
Right.
And we were watching Cast and Bronze, and we saw the BMX sign. We're like, well, we have to check that out. Like, how are they going to do that?
Right.
And
that's the fun of Musikfest, is the point is to get you around. Really, why it started back in 83, 84, besides the closing of Bethlehem Steel, was to showcase the colonial industrial quarter. So it's kind of cool to go down and see the Loconte Mill, and next to it is a BMX demonstration. I mean, that's a great contrast, and that's the point.
Yeah.
We're doing a couple videos with these Fest friends, so if you see us down there, we'll give you one without a video. But we've been talking to some people, and we were lucky enough to go to Polka, and there was a couple that's been coming from Hellertown since the first day. And he was telling us on camera about watching the first performance at Musikfest as it came up the hill. Like, he remembers it. And he said, we've been here every day. I'm not going to challenge him on it. He said he's been here every day. Even the rainy ones, I trust him on it.
Yeah.
But it's amazing, just that history. It's so important to people that they're not going to miss a day over 40 years.
Yeah, it's crazy. And that's why we keep some of the tradition that we talked about before. You're going to see polka here, but then you're going to see brand new cutting edge music. You need to blend those two. And the point of sometimes doing it on the same stage like Service Electric Festplatz is you get crossover. So if someone's coming down for polka, and they're hanging out, and they may stay for the beginning of the next, and at that point go, these guys are kind of cool, let's sit around and listen. That's what we do at Plaza Tropical. That's what we do at all the venues, is just try to get you exposed to something new, not just in music, but your neighbor next to you.
Yeah.
And your neighbor doesn't need to live next to you. I mean your neighbor as in humankind.
Yeah.
Just make a connection, make a memory, and in this polarized world, we need a hell of a lot more than that.
Yeah, it's that idea of spending time with each other, and like you said, it's like the access. Like anybody can come. 99% of the shows are free. They're not free. I mean, the bands are obviously getting paid, but I mean, there's no entrance cost to get in there, and you have an opportunity to sit down and listen. And one of the things I've always liked too is that you have a mix of people that are doing original music and cover music. And I'm one of those people that I'd love to sit down and listen to someone just work through their album from A to Z. Like that's what they wanted to do, but I also understand there's a market. Like you're having a good time. It's 10:15, 10:30 on Friday, Saturday night. You want to sing along. You maybe don't want to hear the deep cuts, and like I get it. But it's just the opportunity to watch people, and we've tried to do that a lot in the city too. Is support local artists, support original music, and I just love coming and hearing bands play their original music. And there's not a lot of places you can do that.
Correct.
There's just not a lot of places you can go. I mean, bars, clubs, and I get it, they want to have the people that will play the cover stuff to get people in. But one thing that you guys have always done is balance out the idea that, different people are looking for different stuff.
Absolutely, and artists today have to tour, so they can't depend on iTunes because they're getting 0.01 penny, for each download. So live touring is still critical. That's how they make their way. So in addition to the original music, what we love is just the folks that come down and, like I said, post later on and say, I've never heard of this band before. They're amazing. So talking before, about 42% of the bands that are playing now have never played here before. And what I love with that is you'll see them get with veteran musicians that play here every year. And they kind of take them under their wing and say, here's how you work the crowd. Here's what you do. And it's just a great community to watch unfold. Yeah,
absolutely. It's we were walking around on Main Street yesterday, and we saw Dina Hall over there, and it was hot out there.
It's hot.
It was hot.
Toasty.
It was hot for her, I think, and I was watching, but she sounded great as always. But she had a couple friends come by, and that's the other thing too, is like you see Lehigh Valley musicians and ones that are around here often that will have other guests, that will have friends come up there, and it allows them an opportunity. And the one thing too is, and I don't know if people always understand this, is like playing at Musikfest or playing on one of these stages is such a huge thrill for every single musician. It doesn't matter if you're a touring musician. You hear people from California, from Texas, from throughout the world talk about how amazing this place is to play. But at the same time, it is an opportunity for the people even around here that they're just like, I remember when I played Musikfest 2 years ago or 3 years ago or 4 years ago, whatever it is. It is just, all of the local musicians really, really appreciate the opportunity as well.
And what we love is that when they can get on here, I'll pick Slingshot Dakota as an example. They broke into the festival circuit here. So we love to elevate musicians, and when we get the chance, if they can play here, they've earned that spot, and they break into other festivals and get on the circuit, that to us is a real moment of pride for the programming team to be able to watch them. It's almost like your kids saying, hey, they grew up here, and now they are flying, and they're out of the nest doing great.
Well, what's her name? The pop star from Sabrina Carpenter, when she just did the Hot Ones.
Yes. Oh, when she talked about Musikfest.
Yeah, and she's like superstar,
right?
And she's on Hot Ones, which is this great YouTube, thing. And then she's in the middle. They're like, he asked the question, "How is performing at Musikfest a break for your career?" And they had this whole thing. You went for like 3 minutes about Musikfest.
It was the best advertising we can get, and very often the artists that come down, when they take photos of the backdrop of their stage and they post it on social media, that's advertising we cannot buy, and they embody the festival. That's the heartbeat of the festival.
My friend Alicia Stillman posted on Facebook. She said, since Sabrina Carpenter she said that Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds watched her interview on Hot Ones, which means they must now know about Musikfest. They know that it exists because they watched her interview.
We have to get them here.
Right. So, I mean, it's,
let me text them, see what they're
There's a couple of other artists that are local I can think of we'd love to get here, too. We'll have to work on that.
But no, that is fun when you see stuff like that you're just like, wow, she's all over the place. Like, she's international.
Yeah.
And
I remember her playing the main stage, and we took a picture on the main stage, and she told me then that it was a dream come true, which honestly, for a minute I was like, you're Sabrina Carpenter. This is really a dream come true. And when we got into it, she said, this is my hometown festival. This is when I got excited about music. And so to come back and play here and be invited to the main stage, the White Creek Steel stage, that this was it. And from here, I just launched, and that to me was a very humbling moment.
That is, and you hear people talk about that. Is, when if they grow up here, if they went to Musikfest ever, is that feeling of going a place and then being on a stage there when you were watching. Doesn't matter how big they get, it comes up over and over again, and you can tell when people ask that question, even when they're touring or whatever, and they're used to answering all the same questions, and someone asks them about like Musikfest, and they answer for like 3 minutes. They're like, yeah, now here's what I want to talk about. I want to explain about what it meant to me or whatever. But yeah, you get it's a thrill, I think, for anybody.
It really is. And again, I keep talking about the backdrop, but whether you're on the south side or the north side, I think what is so beautiful about this city is wherever we drop a stage, and again, that was the original point of Musikfest, to circulate around the city, there are views, whether you're at Liederplatz, which has got its beautiful little quaint feel and natural covering of the trees, or up here, or you're down at Festplatz, the original Platz, Zinsenplatz, there's just a different energy everywhere. And what I love too the most is watching the change in the attendees from day to night.
Yeah.
So the day, you've got all the parents, you've got all the families, you've got folks that are walking around, business lunches down there during the week. And then around 7 o'clock, when those shows start to really pop, you see it swell, you see every person from every background just start to pack downtown, and that gives me goosebumps.
Yeah, it is. There's nothing like it. It's like that moment when it's getting really crowded and everyone's coming down. It's pretty special. It never gets old.
Never gets old.
So Kassie, what's like a typical day for you at Musikfest? Like, I know you try to enjoy some stuff, but are you up at 4 a.m, go to bed at midnight? Like, how do you get through the week?
I usually do like midnight to 1 is bedtime, and then I'm usually up by like 7 or 8, but I have an easy time. Our programming team at the Wind Creek Steel Stage, like those artists can leave at 2 or 3 in the morning, and then they've got call at 6 in the morning. So for a lot of our staff, it can be 24 hours. For volunteers, it can be. There is no typical day, none. And that's, I think, what gets and keeps me excited. And
that's what we have to thank. If you see a volunteer, thank them. Profusely, and of course staff as well. Because of all that hard work.
There would be no Musikfest without volunteers.
And that's how it started.
Yeah.
And so when you see them in that shirt, these are not volunteers that are stuffing envelopes and walking around and waving to you. Our volunteers run the stages, they pay the artists, they rate the artists, they are making sure that they get there on time, they are refilling all the beer trucks. They truly run this festival. As a matter of fact, I was just on First Street the other night when we had the rain delay. I wasn't sure the answer to a patron's question, so I grabbed a volunteer. And they knew more than I did. Not shocking.
Yeah.
And last year I think she might still be volunteering. We interviewed a woman last year who was here for the entire duration, I believe.
We have over 10 that have been here all 41 years.
That's crazy.
It is crazy.
Do they get like a bronzed mug at the end?
We doubled their salary.
Well, if we run into any of them, I'll definitely say hello. And
Please do.
Is there anything at all? I mean, I know we talked about so much stuff. There's so many new things. Is there, like one thing in particular that you're really looking forward to, or is it just another year is exciting to?
You can't pick a favorite thing. It's like picking a favorite child.
Sure.
To me, there is the perfect night, weather like today, when the sun will start to go down, and you will see a family with a stroller sitting somewhere by a stage. Mom and dad have a mug. Kids got, sitting in the stroller with this little Ziploc of goldfish, and they're just looking up at the sky and taking in the music. And then the sun goes down, and the younger people come in, and you see the energy, and you feel it. I never, ever get tired of it, and it's new to me every single day.
Okay.
11 days of Christmas.
It is. Well, you got that right.
Speaking of being super busy, we're sure you've already given us about 30 minutes of your time. We're going to keep going. We have a couple guests throughout our hour and a half, 2 hours here today, and we appreciate your time. Be sure to say hi to Kassie if you see her out and about during Musikfest.
Anything you want?
Yeah, of course, the mayor.
Anything you want to mention before we go? Anything to ask of those million people coming down to Fest?
Come down, support the small businesses. You'll see official vendors attached to them. Support the small businesses on Main Street. Thank the artists, thank the volunteers, thank the staff, thank the law enforcement officers who are working around the clock to keep us safe. And remember that we are doing something unlike anywhere else in the country.
And be proud of it.
That only happens when we do it together.
Absolutely, and that's one of the things we talk about all the time as well. Is if you come down here, like it might be free for you to watch, but it's not free to put on. So if you buy that one corn on the cob, if you buy that buy that one beer, buy that one sandwich, just buy one of something, because that's what pays the musicians, that's what pays the artists, And it also, one thing we haven't talked about is, I mean, Music Fest helps to pay for everything else Arts Quest does throughout the year with the artistic community throughout the city of Bethlehem.
That's a great point. We're doing about 5,000 camps, classes, and concerts a year. 50% of that is free to the public, and Music Fest is the tip of the spear that helps to make that happen. So any kind of support helps to make sure that we can keep our mission alive of increasing access to the arts for all.
Absolutely. Okay.
All right, Kassie, thank you so much.
Whacker, thank you.
We appreciate it, and we'll see you down there.
We'll see you around.
Amen. We'll see you all around. Look
Okay.
forward to see you guys.
Thank
Sounds
you,
good.
Kassie.
Thank you, Kassie.
Thank you, Mayor.
All right, next we're gonna bring on Mr. Wes Harris from Liberty Jams.
Sweet.
We're gonna switch spots with Kassie here.
Awesome. I'm out. I'm out.
Thanks,
Here we go.
Kassie.
You're ready.
Don't forget
See
your
ya.
fanny pack. It's very important.
Got my fanny pack.
Come on in, Wes.
Wes,
Hello.
Wes, you're
How's
gonna
it going?
Pretty good.
Wes is gonna come back on later. He has a student. He works with Nicole Loconte, who's gonna play.
Awesome.
But since our scheduling is always up in the air, we figured we'd bring you on now to get started. So, welcome, Wes.
Thank you.
Wes, tell us about yourself.
Well, I guess I am here in the capacity of I'm director for Liberty Jams, which is the at Liberty High School. Liberty Jams is the after-school rock band ensemble.
Nice.
So I direct that group. It's about 25 students, and they're playing on Saturday at the Jazz Cabaret stage.
All right.
Working all summer on this set. All of us volunteering our time because we freaking love this stuff. This is just what we're all about.
Where is
so.
that stage?
It's in the Arts Quest building.
Okay.
Yep. So air conditioning.
That's awesome. So how long have you been involved with Liberty Jams for?
So this will be my third year.
Okay.
So it was a group that was established before COVID with the teacher who was there before me.
Yeah.
And then obviously, it kind of COVID happened. So we're
Right.
kind of rebuilding, sort of building from scratch with an idea of what we want it to be and trying to figure out how to make that happen. So it's
Yeah.
been a lot of experimenting and trying stuff, and some of it works and some of it doesn't.
Yeah.
But mostly just playing music and having fun together. So.
Awesome. So did you recruit these kids for the band, or were they just kind of, I want to be a part of it? Talk a little bit about that process.
That's a good question. So it is audition based.
Yeah.
So I put out, advertisements for kids to audition, and then a bunch of people showed up and auditioned, and it is open for all skill levels. So the audition is more just like, where are you at? So we know who to, put
Are you
songs
committed
together.
when you come to practice?
Exactly.
You know.
Yeah. So it's and it's only once a week, but it is a commitment because it's all year round.
Yeah.
It's the summer and all of that. So yeah, auditions, and then at this point, it's just snowballed. Now
Yeah.
the kids, they advertise it amongst themselves, word
Awesome.
of mouth and stuff
Awesome.
like that. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Cool.
What kind of music do you guys like? I don't know. Run me through like a practice in the beginning of the year. You get through some people in there, and do you start like taking requests for rock songs, or how does that work out?
Kind of, actually, more or less. Yeah, the kids choose the songs. So
Straight.
when they audition, I have them play something that I ask them to play, and then I have them play whatever they want to play, and that's
Yeah.
their chance to be like, this is the song that I want to perform.
Yeah.
Look, I already know my part, all that. So they come in with all of their requests, and then I have a team of leadership kids who help, come to conclusions about what makes sense with the people
Yeah.
and the gig coming up and all of that. So it's mostly covers of rock music from across the decades, a lot
Yeah.
of the popular stuff that everybody knows and loves.
Do you get in the middle of any artistic differences? Like, this is the direction of the band?
Yes.
Like, this is why we came together? This is what our band is about?
Absolutely. I mean, you can imagine a bunch of teenagers. Everybody has an idea about what they want. They've got their vision
Yeah.
of glory. And
I'm picturing like Almost Famous, where it's just like, do you remember why we got together as a band? Do you remember?
Yeah, and I think for us, I'm always telling the kids this too. A lot of it comes back to, at the end of the day, it is all about, for us, it's about music education,
Yeah.
right? It's a school. So we are here to have the kids learn about the history of rock music by playing it. And I think a lot of times, there are differences that come up where, we have to consider the audience, we have to consider the gig,
Sure.
the venue,
Yeah,
all this
yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
And, it's tough to balance all of that.
Oh my gosh! Can you just talk a little bit about why you think music education is so valuable?
Oh my gosh. How do we even begin with that question?
I don't know. You get to answer it. That's why you're here.
I don't know. I think it all comes back to everybody deserves to be involved in music in some way. I think that it has to do with the community, and I think that's what we're all here all about this week too with Music Fest. It's about bringing the community together through music. I think it's the same in the schools, right? It's about how can we get kids who maybe wouldn't have been a part of the music program otherwise involved in music, so they can be in the community and participating not just in the school, but in all of Bethlehem and all of that through music. I think that music can be such a great vehicle.
And
for that.
absolutely, and music is something you can do forever, and you don't have to be a professional musician.
Yes.
You're talking to two people that at different times in their life, had different musical experiences.
Oh, yeah. Hey, I'm still on Spotify. I won't tell you the name of the band. I don't need to embarrass myself.
I will tell you the name of the band. No, but I mean, and we were never professional musicians, just playing around with your friends once in a while. You're on a stage. If it's just you at your house with your guitar or piano or whatever, it's such a great thing to get into. And it is, and like you said, it's one of those things that like once you learn how to play an instrument or once you have that experience, it doesn't matter if you're getting paid $10 or like $20,000. It's something you can do forever.
Yeah, just meeting up with your friends, hanging out in the basement, making up covers of songs, just like, that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Hey, you
Connecting with each other.
really, you grew up here and were able to go to Musikfest like during your high school years. Like, how is that? And Wes, you could talk to this too. Like, there must be an interesting thing as a high school student to be able to walk downtown or be in your town and see all these different bands. That should influence you or possibly.
Yeah, I think it does. Obviously, I think when you're 16, 17, Musikfest, you're thinking as much about like the social scene as far as like the kind of the last thing before you go back to school.
Absolutely.
But yeah, you walk around. I think it's just more about that feeling, that vibe, that you got all these different stages, you got all these different types of music, and it is experience that once again it is shared. I think it's so great. I mean, I'm a Liberty grad. My mom still lives right across the street. Our little guy's going to go to Liberty one day. When you look at like Liberty and Freedom in particular, like the opportunities to have these things, it's just like I didn't even know Liberty Jams was a thing until a while ago. And I actually think as a non-parent, I know more about the Bethlehem School District than anybody else does. It's just amazing to find all these different vehicles that the school district has within our community to build up something like that. This is special.
And we're growing. I mean, that's the coolest thing about being a part of this. Like, in the past, maybe there have been times I was talking to my neighbor about how, like, arts and music don't, being taken out of the schools.
Yeah.
That's the opposite of what is happening now.
Yeah.
We're growing. We have new ensembles, new kids getting involved every year. Biggest numbers in a long time. It's just really neat.
That is neat. I know the COVID and the pandemic was difficult because, and I know that that you missed out on all those years. The high school bands missed out on those years. That if a kid's not start picking up the instrument in 4th or 5th grade, it's harder then to be able to get them going in like 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, both from a skill level but also a commitment. I remember how intimidating it was for me when I first took my first musician classes at Moravian. Everyone else had been playing the violin or the piano since they were 5.
Right.
So but I was old enough to be hey, it's okay. I don't mind making a fool of myself in front of 11 people. That's a different dynamic if you're it's 8th grade or 9th grade and I just want to pick up the trumpet.
Right.
So it's I know it's been a little bit of a challenge to pick up musical education the last couple of years.
And I think that's what's cool about Liberty Jams in particular is that when it comes to rock music, you can have the kind of situation where you have a 5-year-old jamming along with a 75-year-old, and everywhere in between, all the skill levels mixed in together because you can either strum the chords or you can rip a solo depending on where you're at. But we're all together doing it.
Absolutely. And I think we all, if you think of it, some of what we think are the best stage pictures, it's people with tambourines, people with you're just part of it. You're on stage, you're creating this thing together, and that's and like you said, that's the same thing. It's it doesn't matter what part you're playing. It's everybody is hearing all of the music together. So even if you're not singing or you're not the guitar solo, it's what are we creating together? And that's certainly something that I used to say that about sports is that you learn how to be everybody in society. You learn how to be the person that passes the ball and shoots the ball, that cheers on your teammates, and music is the same way. Everybody, you're sharing the spotlight to create this thing together.
Quick question: is for Liberty Jams, do you have to be a member of the band, or can you just join?
It's entirely separate. So I would say about
that's
half
neat.
of
Just I'm just saying, there may be some kids who are they might not be marching band might not be exactly for, even though Liberty's is the best in possibly the world.
Yes.
It's just interesting that maybe that shredding guitarist might have an outlet that wasn't currently there, so that's really neat.
It's been cool to hear from parents who have expressed I wasn't sure my kid was going to find a place coming into this school, because they're a guitar player. There's no room in the orchestra for that, but they found a place here. And then actually since then, I encourage all the Liberty Jams kids to go join the band orchestra. There's nothing like being a part of the music program at the school. So most of them, I would say half of them came to Liberty Jams already a part of the music program, and then I've hopefully successfully convinced
Awesome.
most of the rest of them.
Now, do you teach at Liberty?
I do, yes.
What subject do you teach?
So I teach music production,
Okay.
piano, guitar, the electives.
Awesome,
Yeah.
awesome. That's fantastic, Mr. Frank,
Yes.
our illustrious band director. He was me and George's friend back at back at Moravian College.
Yeah.
Now Moravian University. He was actually my RA, as
Believe it or not.
Mr. Frank tells. Yeah.
And he's still friends with you years later.
He's on a strict non-disclosure agreement to not talk about anything from 2001.
It's all good.
But no, it's awesome. And like you said, though, I think at a place like Liberty, I mean, you got almost 3,000 students, and you have so many opportunities, and so many times, and I taught for a long time, is that it is a situation where, like, if the reason, like, you want the kids to be coming to school for a reason other than just like what their academic classes are, and like you'll find some, but you need them coming for some type of extracurricular activity. And the kids that are the happiest, that get the most out of high school, and it's a very difficult age, are the ones that have the activities that they can look forward to. It's like, that's the thing that I'm a part of.
Yeah.
And like, what's cooler than like bringing your guitar or whatever to school? I mean, that's really cool.
And it's cool too, all these kids they come with so many talents,
Yeah.
and to be able to offer them a stage to
Yep.
shine and to
Yeah.
like, show this off. It's just like the what it does to self-esteem and
Yeah.
all that. I mean, it's just
Yeah.
it's crucial to be a part of something like this.
So how many years have you been teaching at Liberty for?
This will be my third.
Nice. And did you originally grow up around here?
No, I'm from Maryland originally.
Awesome.
But interestingly, I did grow up coming to Musikfest.
Nice.
We were growing up for this. So when I was looking,
Why is that? I'm sure. Tell the story.
well, it's a little complicated. We would actually come up for the DCI Eastern Classic.
Okay.
in Allen.
Yeah.
But it always overlapped with Musikfest.
Interesting.
And eventually it became, well, let's just go to Musikfest.
That's
neat.
fantastic.
So when I was looking around, and applying for jobs and things,
Yeah.
I knew of this area as a place that valued music and the arts, and so
See, Kassie shouldn't have left. Like,
I know,
these are the
that's-
stories that happen. It's like you come to Musikfest, you walk around,
You're like,
and then
oh.
you decide to come here and just help to create this great thing for the community.
Yeah.
All going back to that idea of like Musikfest being welcoming, and you were like, this is a cool place and a cool vibe and things like that. And now, hopefully, for however long you want to teach, hopefully, I'm sure a long time, you're going to be able to do all these great things with these kids and like pass it along. And we always talk, George and I talk about this a lot, is that Bethlehem in our community is a combination of people who grew up here, which is great. I was one of those people, and then people like George who went to Moravian, who didn't grow up around here, and then he stayed and he just becomes part of the community, gets married, has a wonderful daughter, the family's part of here. But that's so awesome that you came here to see Musikfest.
I mean, in a way, I was pulled here because of Musikfest, which is just really neat.
Yeah, and now you're creating.
And now we're here doing
And
this.
now you're
It's
creating
just-
all
it's
this
awesome.
fantastic stuff. I mean, that's really cool.
And I appreciate, because I ran off here, I got some phone calls. We have other guests who are coming on, so I appreciate you jumping in. Because I believe one of your students, Nicole,
Yes.
is going to be
Yeah.
playing at least one song for
Yep.
us here in our next hour, or our second
Awesome.
hour. We are waiting on Taste Smokers. He called me. He's on his way. We got John Bloys coming up, as well as Carly Commando from Slingshot Dakota.
Oh, nice.
And Theo's Gyros. I told them to bring you a gyro, so we'll see. If, like, I stopped in. Like, he wouldn't be upset if you brought the gyro in. In fact, I see Quez
He's
coming
coming
this
now.
way.
Well, we'll see
So-
you again in a little while.
bit, yeah.
But just
Yeah,
want
thanks for coming early.
Thanks for coming, and thank you for sharing your story, and also just like thank you for all you're doing with kids and musical education.
Oh, that's so nice to hear. Thank you.
That's awesome. You better appear in like the thank you liner notes of like future albums. Like you better be one of those, like the ninth or asked as like a guest appearance. So awesome.
And Wes, you're our best friend.
Oh,
as
there
well,
you
so
go,
thank
buddy.
you so much.
You got to wear that around
We
every day now.
appreciate
All
it.
right, I love it.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. See you soon.
See you in a bit.
Yep.
Quez, you can just roll right up whenever you're ready. Go. There's an entrance over on that side.
Wow.
I love this vantage point. I can see all the way down New Street.
Yeah. At least.
No, don't turn the camera on. I want to see if it'll come back. But
So, that's awesome. Like I said, it's amazing that you can just keep learning new things about what's going
I
on
wish,
at Liberty and Freedom.
to have that in high school,
I know.
I've been in Liberty's. They have a sound studio in
Yeah.
there, and it's just like. You walk in, you're like, come on.
I know,
Because like
it's
in my
awesome.
high school, it was like the basement, and they
Yeah.
had an amp and a guitar,
Yeah, yeah.
and there it's like you could put together.
Let's not throw your high school
I'm
under the
not
bus.
a name. This is 25 years ago.
Yes,
I'm sure they've
let's-
upgraded.
I'm
and
sure they have.
They're doing well.
I'm
up
sure
there.
they have. So, George,
Well,
do you want to introduce our next guest?
We have Taste Smokers, Quez.
Come on,
How's it
come on,
going?
come on.
What's going on, guys?
How are you doing?
Good
Does
morning,
your daughter
afternoon.
want to come up too? We can get her.
We can slide. We can
You're good?
slide.
Do you want to sit in your dad's lap, maybe?
Oh, okay. Dumb question, George.
You're okay. You don't have to be on this show. It's all good.
Yeah.
How's it going, guys?
Good.
Quez,
How are you
it's
doing?
Going.
Doing good.
We want to start first by welcoming you to your first Music Fest as like an official vendor. I mean, you've been in Bethlehem for a while now, but how is it to be a vendor at Music Fest? And then we'll talk about the Taste Smokers one.
Well, it feels like we're kind of becoming ingrained into the community
Yeah.
to another level. Like, it's a surprise for a lot of people that were down there. You know what I mean? So when they see us down there and they've heard of us and they see us on the shop, especially with like our catering style, hybrid style of restaurant, people are like, you're solidified, kind of like, just
Yeah.
from Bethlehem. We're out of towners, from Chicago. So this was like the next step in the evolution. So it feels really cool to be here, and we can see this happening for a lot of years to come. So.
We know the Taste Smoker story, but can you just kind of run the audience through who you are, how you guys got into this?
I'm Cortez Moore, owner of the Taste Smokers with my wife Veronica Moore. She's also a brown skin plant mama who also does a bunch of other things you guys probably know her for. But that's my partner in crime, and we're both Chicago transplants. You know what I mean? And we come from that big city. We got out here and on the side of this mountain, and it grew on us. You know what I mean? I always tell people it's in the water. Water's flowing down the mountain. I feel like it's a really clean spring. Something in the water. People are nice here. There's problems everywhere you go in the world, but this place kind of has an even keel to it. You know what I mean? And that's kind of what made us decide to continue to set up shop. We figured out we wanted to raise kids here.
Yeah.
And once we figured that out, it was like, well, we might as well start some business. If we, just where life takes you.
Yeah.
So I know that I was supposed to be here for a reason. And I think Music Fest is a part of like the grand scheme. If you believe in all of that stuff, like I believe in a higher power, and I believe that this is part of the grand scheme for us. You know what I mean? Just being here. This is a small business incubator as far as Lehigh Valley go. I say that all the time. A lot of the people that are going to support you are trying to start something, or they've been going for 40 years with their family, with the business. So a lot of these places that we support are, people you can shake hands with.
Yeah,
I think that's one of the coolest things about, on the side of the mountain up here. So
Yeah, I like that. So, and your store is on, or Taste Smokers on 3rd Street.
it's on Thursday.
But where are you guys setting up during Music Fest?
So we're right here at Plaza Tropical.
Okay.
So we're right by All Shucks, we're right by Heaven on a Bun, Geno's, is it not Geno's, the Gyros, Theo's.
Theo's, yep.
Theo's, we're on that side. We're the last one on the block.
Awesome.
On that side of things. So we're really close to the stage.
That's cool. Cool.
And can you tell us a little bit? You said you have a unique setup for the Taste Smokers. That's, I don't want to say unusual. It's just maybe a little bit different that people aren't used to. Can you kind of describe what that is?
Man, if I wouldn't be doing my job. It's part of the reason that I'm here. To get the word out. We get those calls and those text messages. People ask us all the time. I've been trying to get this for 3 years. You're never open. Hey, everybody, we are not McDonald's. We are not Applebee's. We are not any of those other companies. We make barbecue. We smoke meat. Our food takes hours to prepare. So we know that we're doing an artisan service, and we are community, members and community advocates. So we know our angle is a little bit different. We barbecue and all that food. You bake mac and cheese. Nothing is to order. You can only get what we have. So that's where you get the hybrid kind of thing from. We prefer catering. We're doing contracts with companies all up and down the road. This is an industrial area, extremely industrial area in the country. And we do contracts with the companies, we do contracts with the schools, anybody that wants to, employ us and wants to try our food. Like that's what we would prefer.
Yeah.
Because we cooking 10 briskets and hoping we sell it.
Yeah.
That's what the restaurant is, and so that's why we're kind of doing that transition now. Is like, hey, we got an art gallery down here. There's a dining room in there that we open and use it sometimes, but what we also do with that dining room is invite other chefs that are up and coming to kind of feature their stuff in there. They can use our dining room. That's why it's an event space. That's why 500 people say, hey, we need you to come out on Saturday. Can you do it? And it takes all of my 6 staff. Yeah, we're gonna go do that versus sit in the shop until we get that bandwidth, because we're on the south side of Bethlehem and we're offering the artisan product experience. So
People often don't understand that when you have small businesses, it's you and it's your family, and if you're not working, you're not making money. So it is oftentimes people think that it's like, they think about this with every restaurant, but oftentimes the small businesses that they love the most, and we talk about this a lot too, is that like, you're not made to order. Like, you have a family, you have things going on, and that means that sometimes you can't be everything to everybody that wants you to be something. And I think I've always said a big thing about our community here is understanding that. Is if you want to support a small business, you want to support a family sustaining small business, like, it's got to be a little bit on their terms, partly because like your kids matter, your family matters, and you get to choose, and like, I respect that. It's not like I'm coming in, I'm getting there at 11 a.m. and I want this right now. Like, there's always an element of that, but also like, you're a person and you're a family. And one of the things that you see a lot too is small businesses, even if they're making money, if they're being successful, they are just like, I don't want to do this anymore because it just takes too much out of them. So like, for us and for the community, it's about supporting you as well.
And that's why it's beneficial in being in Bethlehem. You sense that in the community, because it is exactly like that. Like, we did the food truck for 2 years before the brick and mortar. I was burnt out then.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I was cool with like, you know what I mean? Because it's not easy work.
Yeah.
And it's more about building the brand and letting people, especially the public and the community, know what your kind of your ebbs and flows are and what what you got working on. So
Yeah.
Shop, if you catch the dining room open, you can catch our kids running around.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's their playground. So.
Absolutely. And one of the things I love about you and Veronica so much is like, you truly are committed to helping out other people and other small businesses. Like, and it just but it comes from the heart. And it's like, what opportunities can you create for other people to create this culture of community and this culture of small businesses being successful? And a lot of people say that, but you guys actually do it. And there are a lot of those people in the Lehigh Valley and in Bethlehem. But one of the things that I think that since you guys have come here, you've also been leaders, and just like I said, like, we're here to support each other, and I think that that's a special thing. So thank you for that as well.
No, we appreciate that.
Yeah.
That's why we try to continue to make these connections and connect the dots. Basically, is what I like to call it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man.
You gotta love when somebody like you comes from Chicago, yourself and your wife, and professionals who come here and then say, this place is great. Like, it makes, you're just like, yeah, it is. It gets you really fired up to see other people appreciate it kind of the way that you have learned to as well. I really love that. So when you say the Lehigh Valley is an incubator just within itself, that's such a great comment.
You must be really loyal to Chicago too, wearing that White Sox hat, because they might be having the worst season I've ever seen from a baseball team. So that's how we know you're a good dude.
You guys haven't been down the Plaza Tropicana. Chicago flag, Bears flag, Taste Smokers banner. That's what our spiel is down there.
I love it.
So yeah, we are. I love my city. I love where I'm from.
I love it.
Absolutely.
It's nice out here.
Yeah, I love it.
It's definitely nice out here.
I love it. So what are you looking forward to for Musikfest this year? Like, what's the thing that you're looking forward to be a part of the most?
It's already happened, man. Right now, it's about the marathon for us.
Okay.
We are literally running the marathon of Musikfest, dealing with the rain, dealing with hoping you get good days. You know what I mean? There's a lot of resources that people don't realize all of those vendors put into.
Yep.
And then there are a lot of strings and things that go on with being safe and making sure we're in compliance and with everything else that's going on.
Yeah.
So we want to serve safe food and we want to sell that food. It's a big deal for everybody. These restaurants, a lot of these places that come down there, if they have a brick and mortar, even if they don't come down to Musikfest and serve, restaurants go on vacation right now.
Yeah.
So it's like, you would think 1.5 million people coming to the city or out in the city, everybody's open all the time.
Yep.
No, they're going to Musikfest.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to have been doing this a really long time to have a clientele that's coming in to you during Musikfest and coming to visit you at your place.
Yeah.
People go on vacation. So we're doing it right now. We're running the marathon. We're still here. I'm looking forward to Sunday night. is what I can say I'm looking forward to the most.
It is. It takes a lot out of small businesses too, and people often be like, "Oh, that business is successful," but just the 10 days and the planning that's longer than 10 days, it's got an effect then on your staff next week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks. I mean, I've seen small businesses over the years decide like, we love Musikfest, we're taking a year off, taking 2 years off, because it just has a long effect, which goes back to one of the points we always make is like, the music might appear to you to be free, but this is a really important 10 days for small businesses, for the musicians. So when you come down here, you're buying, just buy the one corn on the cob, buy the one sandwich, buy the one beer, buy the one thing to support, because people's lives are, they're putting them on hold, or as you said, you're going all in on these 10 days as like a huge part of your family and your existence.
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely a huge opportunity though. Anybody that can take advantage of it. Like a lot of the food services that people that we know, people with up and coming businesses, they look at Musikfest like, you know, like it's the top of the mountain. You know what I mean? Like I was thinking about doing it this year, but I had somebody tell me just yesterday, you know, that was out there with us, and he has his own business. He has a food service, and he was saying, you know, I thought I could do this, and I was thinking about it last year, but I'm looking at it like I would have been nowhere near prepared for handling this kind of situation. You know what I mean? Like you got to think, some people got 20, 30 people down there on staff.
You guys may have talked about this as I was running around, but like, how do you handle your brick and mortar during this week? Are you kind of?
We are closed.
You're closed. Yeah,
So
I mean, it makes sense.
It goes back to the hybrid part.
Yeah.
Like that's a long spiel, which I can at least give you another little tidbit on it. Like the hybrid in it is because we cook the way we cook.
Right.
You know, we want catering. We want people to call ahead. You want lunch for your group on a Monday, you can still get it. People, the general public thinks we don't work Monday through, Wednesday or Sunday through. We're working every day. The people that are calling us, that's our work. You know what I mean? And like, so we say we open the dining room on Friday from 4 to 8 or Saturday from 1 to 8. Those are the hours that you're gonna get if you go down south and you go to a place that's making real barbecue. They're gonna be open Thursday through Sunday.
That's how it's done.
5 o'clock or something like that. And we're doing a lot of catering because we're in a different area.
Right.
So we're trying to kind of teach the general public and the community about that schedule of barbecue and serving food that takes a lot of work to do. So
I love it. I love it.
Absolutely. I think you guys are located exactly where? I know you probably said this already.
318 East 3rd Street on the south side. We're right across the street. Our door is directly across the street from the Charter Arts Academy.
And during Musikfest, you guys are right across from Plaza Tropical. You cannot miss it, yeah.
You can't miss it. You can't miss the Chicago flag. You can't miss the Bears flag. You can't miss the smoke.
What do people order? Like, what's the best thing for your tent? What's the best order?
100%. What's on fire right now is our dumpster fire. Okay. we had to do years.
There is nothing more music. There's nothing more Musikfest than that. Yes,
The
absolutely.
small story behind the dumpster fire is me and my team over the years, me and my partner Julian, literally started at least 2 dumpster fires in the past 2 years. Literally, fire department knows us well. Obviously, they can respect us, things like that, but they show up and what happens?
It happens.
Smashes in there, sorry. But the dumpster fire is our house-made mac and cheese, topped with our house-made baked beans, made with brisket, topped with your favorite protein, whether it's jerk chicken, brisket, or pulled pork, topped with our mango pineapple slaw, which is dairy-free. It's probably one of the best things we ever had. I'm not too
No, that's good. Now's the time to toot the horn.
Yeah, we did work on creating that and figuring out that we can't serve full platters at a festival.
Yeah.
Well, what's the best? That's
a lot
like
of loss and a lot of experience to go through those years and summers. Like, well, why are we not making that much money and we selling all of this food? This is because we're kind of giving it away. You know what I mean? But as you grow, you learn. The more you grow, the more you know. The more you know, the more you grow. So, that's all it is. It's just going through it and gaining experience.
All right, well, we thank you so much. I know that we called you up here during like the craziest busy time that you have this year.
So, this was the best that you guys obviously knew that.
Yeah.
It's a little calmer, so the team's down there going right now. So,
well, we're gonna let you get back to it, and we're gonna come down soon and see it. Definitely.
Absolutely.
Not hard to find.
Thank you, man.
No, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Make sure we give one to her daughter. Best friends. Thank you. Crystal, make sure she gets one. And next up, John. John's gonna be coming up. Is that me? John. Where's that music coming from?
Who knows?
I don't know. All right. So he told me he has something for you too.
Oh boy.
Musician John Blows is coming on stage.
Yeah.
Bloys. Sorry, my apologies, John Bloys. Who you've already played so far at Musikfest, I believe. Yeah. So we'll go over that.
Come on, sit down, John. Oh, he's coming back with his water.
Smart man. I've been hydrating.
Yeah.
How are you guys?
John, how you doing?
Good to see you, man.
John, thanks so much for coming out. We appreciate it. Monday, it'll, noon can be a little wacky, so we appreciate it.
Absolutely.
So, hey, how's it going? Tell us about yourself a little bit, your musician journey, and what you love about Musikfest.
So let me wrap a whole bunch of things up.
Sure.
And I brought some props to tell my story. So,
Nice.
So I've been,
We love that.
Yeah.
so I was part of the first enthusiastic group of teenage or underage kids when the first Musikfest happened, that you could go to the Stroh's truck and they didn't check IDs.
man.
And they learned their lesson fairly quickly. But
Nice.
It was a great sport to wake up the next
Different
morning and
times.
see which
Different, yeah.
friends,
Don't do that, kids.
Please.
That was 1984. Don't do it.
long time ago, but so
Yeah.
that got me thinking, well, I've been playing at Musikfest a long time.
Right.
And so I was trying to find, when was the first year that I played? And I have old programs. Like,
Whoa.
they're a kick going through them.
Wow.
92 is the earliest one I could find. So that's what, somebody do math.
92. That's 32 years.
All right, she was born in 1990.
Wow.
Oh, look at that.
But it's, what's funny is you go through it and the vibe is still the same. Like, when you say, what do you love about it? I just love, it's the greatest. I love bringing in people from out of town, and it just blows their mind. Like, they can't believe the collection of talent. They can't believe you can get all these national acts to come here. And wait, I get to see great regional acts. I get to see local people. I can see originals. I can see people singing jazz, torch songs. I can see people doing folk. I can see big, 8, 9, 10-piece horn bands. It's just been. I'm repping my Lehigh Valley.
Yeah, man, discover Lehigh Valley. Yeah.
In hindsight, I probably should have worn the white one.
It looks
on a hot day. But,
Well, your buddy Don Cunningham would be happy that you're repping the Lehigh Valley.
Right. So in terms of so I did already play an original set over at the Lyric Platz, Banco in Arts Quest there. It was Saturday night, and one of the great benefits of that Arts Quest building, and Magnum played later that night, is that we're inside. So if it's hot and you want air conditioning and beer, go inside. If there's a torrential downpour,
it's nice to have the option for
right.
indoor stuff. Yeah.
Yep. And then speaking of our friend Don, former Mayor Don Cunningham, I will be playing with his band this Saturday night at 8 o'clock in the Musikfest Cafe upstairs at Arts Quest.
Awesome. So when you played this weekend, it was all original music?
It was all original.
And one of the things I was talking about is one of the great things about Musikfest is the idea that some people obviously want to hear the cover music. I get it. There's a market for that. But I'm one of those people that would love to just hear original musicians play their album from the beginning to the end. I want to hear your original music. There is something about people playing their original songs, and then you don't see that in a lot of places. Bars rarely allow that. It's hard to search it out. But at Musikfest, you can come down for a couple hours, and as you said, with the different stages, it's almost like you can go hear all these different bands with all you're finding something new, and none of it's curated. No Spotify algorithms. Following this up. It's just original music and watching people do their thing, which you can't find a lot of places.
Yeah, one of them, I don't know if you guys are like we are, but one of the most fun things for us is when the lineup comes out.
Yeah.
And you sit there and you're like, all right, how are we going to work this tonight? We need to be on the south side by this time. We're going to take the shuttle from here to there.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really fun.
It is fantastic.
Speaking of the south side, and speaking of Don Cunningham's band, at Levitt Pavilion a couple of years ago, there was a gig that featured 3 mayors.
Oh.
Don Cunningham and Callahan were on stage, and then we had a special guest guitar player.
Look at that.
Wearing his Mets hat.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Look at
You're
that.
lucky you didn't give me that image ahead of time. I could have blown it up. But
I don't know where your camera is.
Yeah, we kind of make that out.
But it's your Mets hat.
It is, man.
It's like mayor tradition now that you gotta know it in a musical instrument.
You know what's a funny story is a couple years ago too, when you guys were on this stage, I came up and played a couple songs with you a couple years ago on here. But I remember when I was in high school, Don would hate appreciate me telling the story. When I was in high school, I think his band was playing here in like 98, 99. And I remember just like walking by and hearing him play a couple like Springsteen songs, and someone's like, "That's the mayor." And I was like, "That's cool." Now, yeah. I was like, "That's cool," but I also remember being like 10 seconds, and I was just like, "My girlfriend's down on Main Street. I'm gonna go hang out with her." So like, I was like, Don, I was just like, "Oh, that's cool. The mayor's
like,
playing."
keep it up.
Yeah,
Good
yeah,
job.
cool stuff. And then I just kept it moving. But it's you know, he's another guy. He's been playing Musikfest for 25, 30 years.
Long time,
And
man. He always gets good group of musicians. We have
Yeah.
a good lineup now. Vern, our drummer, is actually playing 8 different gigs with
Oh
8
my God.
different combinations this week. He's sort of a first call guy, so you know,
Yikes. Well,
something you don't want to miss.
yeah. And then how many, like, what's your Musikfest history as a performer? Can you kind of walk through, how many times have you played, or
No, that's part of
is
what
that
I'm trying
many?
to go through.
Yeah.
This is at least the first year. I think maybe 91 is when I started playing. And
I feel like countless.
Yeah, I think for a good 6 or 7 year run there, I would play with my band, the Boogie Stew. By the way, I think the exposure that we were given to do our originals down here at Musikfest led to we won the ZZO Backyards Band contest
All right.
in the early
Awesome.
90s.
Awesome.
And I think in a large part because of the momentum
remember
that
all
we got
that,
from
yeah.
playing down at
Fun.
Musikfest, right? And then I had, I call it the artistic winter. I got caught up in some, exotic pursuits, like how am I going to pay rent and afford a family on a musician's salary? So,
Yeah, those kind of things.
yeah, so put my head down, got a day gig. So for about 5 years, I was sort of out of the loop, and then I got some traction. I work in the daytime. I specialize in data and artificial intelligence, but that has given me now the ability to work the nights and the weekends and start picking up more and more gigs. So I moved back to the area I was away for a few years. I moved back to the area in 2003.
Okay.
And the very first year I moved back, I was invited to play with Jeff Lloyd Roberts behind
Sure.
the Sun Inn. And
They were married at Musikfest, weren't they?
I think so.
Yes, I believe.
And we got to play. I didn't play their whole set with them. They just asked me to sit in on a bunch of songs. So I did have my gear there. So I get done playing. They still have another 10 songs to go or so, and they come over excitedly like, "Hey, can this guy Joe Bonamassa play your amp?" And I was like, "Yeah, he can do whatever he wants. Go nuts."
By all means,
Yeah,
right.
and it was really cool to see. I mean, I was very well behaved, had my volume at 2. Got done, he didn't even use any effects. He plugged straight in,
Yeah.
cranked the thing
Just-
almost to 10, and it was a big, powerful amp.
Just went for it.
Oh my God, yeah, it was awesome. It was really cool. But then, since then, I've played a lot of gigs at Musikfest with Don. Started doing my originals again this year.
Yeah.
It's kind of, and I love that all my friends and their bands, we can go out and see each other. A lot of times you're playing the same time, so you don't get to
Right.
see each other. But this week, you really get to go and make the rounds and check everybody out and see what they're up to. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that must be a fun part of being a musician is you're around so many other musicians, you get to kind of take a peek at what everybody else is doing.
yeah.
Let's see. Well, speaking of that, we were going to see if you could play a song for
we
us.
want you to play your stuff. So we're gonna step out
Yeah.
here, so you kind of
we
have
just
that-
we look
so
awkward.
It looks awkward. It's like weird. Like you're like singing to us. Like
Do you have a guitar? You want to go run up and get you a guitar? I don't even remember. What did we play?
we played Badlands. We played Badlands, and then we kind of played a
All
couple
right,
things on the flyover on the south side. But we want to hear your original music.
All right.
So we're gonna step out here. Let you play a couple songs.
We got a couple. All right. I'll tell you a little bit about each, and then we'll fumble our way through here midday. So this is a tune called "Everything Means Everything," and it's basically a reflection on my gratitude for my wife's grace and accommodations in the face of my nonsense. And it's hot off the press. Right in the last 3 months we wrote this. She said, I once searching for the truth. Everything she does just makes my head spin around in circles, and everything she gives is all I need. And every time I find myself in need of some salvation, everything means everything to me. Yeah, everything means everything to me. Haunted by the question she asked, and I say, baby, I want answers too. She said, baby, you don't have to worry. You just come with me and I will carry you. But everything she does just makes my head spin around in circles, and everything she gives is all I need. Every time I find myself in need of some salvation, everything is everything to me. Yeah, everything is everything to me. Everything she does just make my head spin around in circles, and everything she gives is all I need. Every time I find myself in need of some salvation, everything means everything to me. Yeah, everything means everything to me.
All right. Can you do another one?
Sure, yeah.
All right. You're making our viewer count rise.
Let me, I'll do one more that has Musikfest roots. So this is a song that sat around for, God, it must be 25, 30 years old. And I wrote it and I sort of forgot about it during the artistic winter I went through. But when I got back into play and this song sort of nagged at me like a cat, at a bedroom door, clawed at a bedroom door. And it's a reflection on how some people seem to thrive with the weight of the world crushing their spirits. And it came about because we were walking down at Musikfest. Again, this is, pre-social media where only some people were allowed to be depressed. And there was a group of what then we called goth. I don't know what the term is these days, but very dark. And they had cultivated this impressive level of negative energy, this existential angst. And so I focused on one of them as a character study. I gave her a name and I wondered, is there anything that anybody could do to lift her spirits, or was this a terminal condition? And so this song is called Mary. Close enough for rock and roll, right? Mary sits by and she wonders why everything has to be. She got it all down in a little black book for no one else to see. She wears dark in the light, she stays out all night, and she cries for children she'll never see. She she wakes with a start, oh, finds that it's already started, but it's still too late, you see. Well, the years go by, I'm looking for a simple explanation to ease her mind and help her heart find peace in this situation. What is Mary wearing? The hopelessness of words untold. What is Mary wearing? It's just a crushing weight of the world. Crushing weight. Mary, she cries for you and I. She says she sees what we don't see. That life isn't love, and love is a lie. It's just a terminal disease. Mary screams at passers-by. Why don't they see what's plain to see? And all that you love will be gone when you turn your back to just one beat. Well, the years go by, I'm looking for a simple explanation to ease her mind and help her heart find peace in this situation. What is Mary wearing? The hopelessness of words untold. What is Mary wearing? It's just a crushing weight of the world. It's just a crushing weight of the world. Well, Mary tries to spread her wings, but everyone and everything, they just hold her down and make her drink the poison of their choosing. You and I, we weigh her down. She float away if she knew how, and land somewhere where it seems not so heavy. What is Mary wearing? The hopelessness of words untold. What is Mary wearing? It's just a crushing weight of the world. It's just a crushing weight of the world. It's just a crushing weight of the world. Crushing weight.
That was
thank
great. That was great. Just a great song. I hope Mary found happiness. I mean, I hope she's not walking around still upset. But John, this has been fantastic.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys having me.
Thank you.
Hey, John, your best friend as well. I
nice.
appreciate it.
So one more time, John. When can the audience catch you again?
So we already did our original
Yep.
set, but I will be with Don Cunningham and Associates on Saturday night in the Arts Quest, the Musikfest Cafe at 8 o'clock.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you, John.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
John
you,
Blowe.
thank you. Hold those for the record books.
Put those in
Awesome.
the museum.
Awesome.
It's great looking through those old things. There's so many just old bands that don't exist, or
Or
you
exist in some
loved
new
back,
form.
Yes.
or like businesses that sponsored stuff. That are just you're like, I remember that show.
But John, two fantastic original songs. He playing rhythm guitar there. He's an unbelievable lead guitarist.
Yeah.
Like the dude's got, it's like skill. Like, like we can play the
I
guitar.
pretend I
we
can play
some
some chords.
But he can break off some
Right.
solos. You're just like, okay, that's like actual musician level.
There was a kid on Main Street, maybe you'll be down there again, playing guitar and riffing and stuff, and he
Yeah.
must have been 10.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, that's amazing. You're
It
really
is.
better than
It
everything
is.
I
It
can do.
is. So, speaking of amazing,
Carly Commando's coming on. We got Slingshot Dakota, Carly Commando.
come on.
So excited. She already told me she wouldn't come on unless I gave her a
That's
Fest
right.
friend challenge.
Oh my
So,
gosh.
For,
Such a rock star.
my head's too big.
Such a
It's
rock
okay.
star. Such a rock star.
Can you please, this can be a part of my crowning.
Yep.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me, everybody.
Oh my goodness!
pleasure
Thank you
to
for
be here.
saying yes.
No, thank you for saying
I'm
yes.
honored to have you up here.
It's a fish.
So, I'll wait till you get that on there. Absolutely.
Wow.
So, Carly, tell us about Slingshot Dakota.
Sure. Oh, I guess I'll come up a little closer.
Yeah, you get.
So Slingshot Dakota has been a band for a very long time. I also just want to get it on record and thank Mayor Reynolds for, number one, specifically asking for Slingshot Dakota to play the Rose Garden, and also for nominating Slingshot Dakota as Bethlehem's best rock band to ever exist. So really, really appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Just wanted to make sure the world knew that.
Absolutely.
So, thank
That's
you
an
so much.
award you can win.
Yeah.
It should be like a yearly
Yeah,
thing.
it's actually surpassed like Lehigh Valley Style and like Lehigh Valley Music Awards.
The
like
Bethlehem
it's its own
Best
thing.
Band.
I thought it was like
The best rock
I
band
thought it was
to
like a
ever come out of
Grammy.
Bethlehem.
I thought it was
Yeah.
like a Grammy equivalent.
You know, and it's
It's
not
even
a
bigger than that. It's like so big it can't.
Microsoft only.
It can't even be Microsoft.
I'm
now.
very proud of you.
Thank you so much.
It's
Well,
great
thank you to
accomplishment.
Bethlehem and to all the important people
How
that really
was
get what
playing
we're
the
doing.
Rose Garden though? We're kind of diverting here,
The
but
Rose Garden was incredible.
It's such a cool venue.
For those who don't know Slingshot Dakota, it's me and my husband. We did start off a long, long, long time ago as a three-piece band that had guitar, drums, and me, and I was just like a background singer, kind of bass player deal. And then over time has evolved to this face-melting comedy duo that is me and my husband, who's like, if you've never seen us play before, Tom's drumming is just out of this world, just like our award for Bethlehem's Best Rock Band. And yeah, playing the Rose Garden was really special because we lived on Union Boulevard for a really long time. We lived on 12th Avenue and then we lived on Union Boulevard, and we always saw that band shell. And I think the only thing that we were aware of that happened there was like the Christmas time choir, or like maybe some, I don't know, there was
Like there were like American Legion bands there as well, and there still are. And there's nothing wrong with that.
There were special events that we were aware of, and I think at some point we were like, oh, it would be really cool if we got to be a part of this. But then we moved away. We bought our house in Allentown, so we were like, the ship has sailed for us to really rock the Rose Garden one day. But then lo and behold, the opportunity comes, and not only are you asking for us, but you're asking for all kinds of incredible, diverse musicians that represent the Lehigh Valley,
That is a
which
fun
is really,
lineup.
really, really, really important because it's incredible to include as many people as possible in like these city-run special events, but then also be honoring original music. So that's like everything that we stand for as people and as a band. Like the Rose Garden series really spoke to us in that way. So it felt incredible. We felt super honored. We felt really proud to serve the city of Bethlehem, especially having lived down the street.
And I mean, part of the idea was I saw it, and I think like that's right in the middle of like West Bethlehem. That would be a great place to have not just music there, but have like original music.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things is, being here, my whole life, I've just watched so many cool bands in so many different places, and I ever thought if I was in a seat like the one I'm in now, it's like, how do you lift them up? Because like every cool city has like this great music scene. And the great music scene is often about not if anybody's selling a million records or not, but it's about like people giving the original music the opportunities. And there's nothing wrong with cover music. It has its place, but like original music reflects the culture of a place. And I was always thinking to myself, as cool as some of the stuff is there, and as I said, there's always a place for things like, some of the stuff that's been going on. There's like, I want guitars, I want amps, I want a place that like young people can bring their kids, hang out.
Yes.
But more than that, we also want to support artists at like a level that's like fair to you and like pay you your amount.
Yes.
But I want to drive by and be like, that's the vibe. And you probably know this from playing so many places. Like the vibe of Bethlehem has been changing and has been this like incredibly diverse vibe for a long time, but it hasn't always translated to having the most prominent spaces on our music stages. And for me, I was like, that's what Live in the Garden, that's what the Rose Garden is going to be, is giving people like you who deserve this wide audience this opportunity to play on a Saturday night in front of the whole neighborhood. And like all these people have been coming out but it's not because like we decided. It's because musicians like you are cool enough to want to play it. So thank you.
We're trying. It's like a mutual relationship,
Yeah.
right? Because everything that you're saying is literally the reason that I play music. It's the reason that me and Tom found each other. It was through our own local punk and hardcore scenes that were these little tiny bubbles of community. And like you said, you know, there's nothing wrong with cover music. We love it. It like that's something that like grounds a lot of people that might not have a lot in common.
Yep.
But then there's that specialty in original music that you said speaks to the culture of a
Mm-hmm.
place, and you really get to know so much about a culture and like a small group of people through that art form.
Yeah.
And that's how I got into music in the first place. So when a city supports original music, especially stuff that might have started in like punk houses a long time ago, and then giving that the opportunity for other people, because they're like, rock music comes in so many forms. Punk music comes in so many forms. I always say that Slingshot Dakota is one of the punkest bands on earth because we refuse to adhere to like our
It's just-
traditional
yeah.
guitar setup.
Yep.
Right, so you're saying amps, guitars. I'm like, I rock a keyboard that I never
Whatever.
have the tune, so I'm
Yeah.
already
Yeah.
the best.
Absolutely.
I'm already
Absolutely.
years above, like
That is
I
very
don't have to tune
an
anything. I have to waste time.
untuned keyboard is super punk rock.
I love
Right.
it.
Like,
Yeah, I don't mess around.
Yes.
We're punk.
No, it's
But we also
fantastic.
keep it fun. Like, we have a good time. And I think that's also the thing that's really cool is making punk music accessible. Because as we've gotten older, all of our punk friends are having kids. So we want to play for all the punk children.
Yeah.
What's more punks than having kids?
Right.
Like, you know, I love it. I love
So,
it.
like, we're stoked. So Musikfest this
Yeah.
year, we've got some inflatable instruments. We are treating this like a 1990s wedding. All right, we got
Awesome.
Sunny G's, we got inflatable instruments. There's like an inflatable keyboard and a bongo drum. Like, so we are very much welcoming the
Okay.
kids. Like, this is official, like, Wu-Tang
well,
here for
did
the
we
children.
mention when we're going to mention this multiple times, but it's
Please do.
August 8th at 7 p.m. at
Thursday
Zinzenplatz.
night.
Thursday at 7.
night, baby.
You're doing nothing else on Thursday.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
put that in front of the camera
Yeah.
for
Yeah,
a
and
second.
Jenny, I believe Jenny Founds is playing on the same stage right before us, who's also an incredible musician.
Yeah.
There
So
we
we
go.
got
Yeah.
two OGs ready to rock.
It is, and so how many times have you guys played Musikfest before?
It's a great question, and I never remember what the answer is now.
Estimate.
Thank you.
6, 7.
Okay.
Okay.
The COVID year doesn't count.
Yeah.
I mean, we played that year.
Yeah.
We did like the streaming.
Yeah. What was your
But-
first? Do you remember what your first year was that you
I
played?
remember the first. I do. I remember. I don't remember the year, but I remember the first time we ever played because we played the TD Bank stage in front of Arts Quest at 11 p.m. set. I believe it was like 11 p.m. to 1 in the morning.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And
All right.
me and Tom were just so excited that we were included that we didn't really think about who was going to show up. We just knew we were going to have a good time. And I think all of our friends, like from the Lehigh Valley punk scene, at that point in time, I don't think there was a lot of bands from the scene being a part of Musikfest.
Yep.
And that was something that me and Tom were also trying
Was
to
that-
actively
Well, I mean, I don't
talk about.
We don't have to spend a lot of time, but it's just interesting that punk side, right, and
Yep.
the Music Fest side. They
Yep.
might be like two sides of a coin, right? Kind of. And when they're able, when Music Fest starts bringing in more of that local
Yes.
stuff, like
I
how did
think-
that feel?
So what I had gathered, because I was a New York transplant, and we were talking about the Mets like 15 minutes ago. So let's go Mets. I don't care.
Oh, you guys are
Phillies
kindred.
people, but
I'm a Phillies people.
You're a Mets fan?
yes, I am. Long Island, baby.
I inherited it from my mom, by the way, who
Hey,
who
it's
grew
all-
up in New Jersey. But yeah, it's okay to like other sports
It's
teams.
fine. It's
also,
fine.
you can't beat Gary, Keith, and Ron.
Okay.
That's in my book.
I get
We're
it.
gonna they're gonna pull the plug on us soon. We can talk about this afterwards. Good, George. Well,
No, you're good. You're good.
Yeah. But I do think
Real
that
ones,
I do think though that like I don't think 35 years ago a band like Slingshot Dakota was going to be on Musikfest stage. And
Yeah,
and,
maybe.
and as the fest has changed, as the Lehigh Valley has changed, and as you said, I think as people have heard more about the scene, have gotten to know the people, like I just remember growing up and seeing all these like cool bands and like
Yeah.
so many friends I have that were in bands that I'm like, these are the people that need to be on the stage. And the other thing too, and you can speak to this, is that oftentimes like there's a whole group of people that are your fans that will show up like if you're there, but they probably aren't going to come if like they're not going to come to just anybody that's playing on Saturday night.
Right.
And one of the things that I've always thought, and we've seen this at Live in the Garden, is there's almost like an untapped group of people that are music fans that will come
Yes.
if you have a little bit of a different like vibe, if you have,
Sure.
and I mean that in the biggest compliment complimentary way possible. If it's not like the same old, people want that vibe. They want original music. They want different music that's infused with punk and indie and all this kind of stuff. There's an audience out there.
Yes.
And you guys certainly bring that every time you play.
Did you
That made
see
me think
the?
of three things. Wait, but let me hear your question first.
Just very quick. There was a band at Live in the Garden called Glass Mask, and they're
I
from
saw your-
Scranton.
They're so good.
And it's like shoegaze,
Yes.
and they're, I believe it's all your Slingshot stuff's going.
Yeah.
Everyone's coming now.
Yeah.
But but there was a younger woman just shredding on
Yeah.
guitar, and it's
Yeah.
just like, and I looked them up. I'm like, where are they from? Scranton. Following them on
Yep.
Spotify. I'm like, how can I bought their bag to
Yeah.
try to support more.
Yeah.
But I found a band.
They're so good.
You know?
They're so good. I found them from you posting about
Yeah,
them.
it's
I was
just
like,
wild.
what is this band?
Who
is
is this?
incredible.
Yeah.
So what I was gonna say, it made me think of three things. So one is that like Music Fest and the folks at Arts Quest are being really mindful of trying to include more and more people, and they're listening. I think it's really hard for people in places of power to receive feedback and like do that with love and respect, and Arts Quest has done a really good job about actually receiving feedback and like considering it and like not taking things personally and really making Music Fest for the people.
Yeah.
In that vein, Music Fest is for music lovers. It is for people that really just are excited to be exposed to all kinds of art, and that's the only other place that I've found that kind of environment is when we tour Europe. It's
Wow.
just like people are so excited to be there, they just want to see you. And it's like, it's not, there's people that might be coming for specific bands, but it's just the vibe. Like, you just never know who you're gonna roll up on, and people might roll up on us and be like, what is this? And then fall in love. And then the second thing is that in terms of bands playing Music Fest, I think when I moved here, that it seemed like there wasn't enough dialogue between, like, communication between the people who booked Music Fest and then the underground scene. And so everyone
Yes.
was like in their own lane, and everyone felt like they had to stay there, but I was like, not in my book.
Right.
And so I remember just finding the people and be like, how do we bridge this gap? How do we make the conversations happen? Because that's how we grow
Right.
as a community. That's how we grow in this world, right? We don't just stay in our lanes. We like communicate and we connect.
And unless you do that, the event Music Fest doesn't become what it is
Right, it
unless
doesn't
those
become inclusive
groups
unless-
talk to each other.
Correct. So I think Slingshot Dakota might have been one of the first bands, not that I know we're not
Gyros.
the first one, but there are others, but to be like, we want to have this conversation, how do we get involved? And now it's just like all of these incredible bands that represent Lehigh Valley are
It is, and when you look at that, and I have some of those friends that we helped with book bands, like guys like Matt Mulchaney and Seamus and things like
Shards
that.
Recording Studio,
that
shout
those
out.
guys too understand that
Tape Shop Radio.
it is work, and you just talked about it. It's work to bring people together. It's work to live in multiple spaces,
Yeah.
and that's always what I've thought. Like part of my job is, and anybody that I have any type of influence in talking to, is that like you got to understand like how we bring everybody together, so everybody looks at something like Music Fest and is like, that's for all of us.
Yes.
And that's an easier thing to say sometimes than to do, because you do get pressure. It's
Yeah.
like, well, these people want to do this, and it's like, no. At some point, you have to also talk to the people that you trust that are in the underground scene and
Yes.
other places, and been like, how do we lift these people up?
Yes.
And from my point of view, is like, and this is goes back to your vibe kind of point, is like, what makes Music Fest so special, as I've said, is like, nobody is bigger than the fest. So like, when you don't know what's going to happen, you're going to walk around and you're going to see people believing in themselves because you're not paying anything to walk up to this free stage or that free stage. I think people have like less expectations that like, I need to get what I need to get and this is what I want. This isn't Spotify, but it's people like you that are producing original music. And I forget who said this, it's like watching people do like what they believe in is awesome no matter where you
Yeah.
are. And that just and that's what I think is like kind of the secret sauce of Music Fest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
Absolutely.
That's it. We got it. We
There we go.
We found the secret.
There
But
we
no,
go.
I love watching polka. I'm not like we were this Saturday. We're watching polka, and then we walk over to Plaza Tropical, and it's heavy metal.
Yeah.
And it's
Yes.
like you're literally like there's this point there where you could probably hear them both. But it's amazing that there's big crowds for each of them, and you could throw a football to either one.
Yes.
I love that. It's amazing.
Yes.
So we got another minute. So anything else you want to add? Anything you want to talk about? Any other bands you want to put out there that are like ones
and
you?
Bren just played played.
I
I'm
saw
like,
Saturday
Brenda's
night.
The best.
Were you
I
there?
know.
Were you?
I wasn't there because we were practicing.
I saw her play at the Compact Disc Center,
Yeah.
which is they sell vinyl. But she
Yeah.
played there, like did a tiny little show, and I was able
Friends
to be.
and
That's really neat. She's gonna do something right.
She was there on Saturday.
She
It
already
was
is.
Saturday night on Main Street. I
Yeah.
should know what
Yeah,
the
yeah,
what
that's-
the
yeah.
name of the name of that.
I never know the stages.
Yeah, but she was there. It was like after it stopped raining, I walked up. She was having a great time. People were loving it.
Yeah, I mean, I love Bren. I've got to go with the classic Dina Hall.
Yeah.
Of course.
Dina's my baby.
Yeah.
There's so many incredible people.
Yeah.
I'm like just so excited. I mean, I was talking to Wes, so these kids are going to be rocking on Saturday.
Love it.
In
Gotta
fact,
go to that show.
Nicole's gonna go after our next guest and from Liberty Jans to end our show. But before we get to our gyros, we just want to say thank you so much and remind people that it is Thursday. August 8th at Zinzenplatz, which is across the street from
Like the Wooden
Polka-
Match and Plaza
yeah.
Tropical.
Just go to musicfest.org, get the app.
Stages.
Yep.
It's not hard to find.
We will be there. There will be sequins. There will be fun
Inflatable
props,
things?
Inflatable things.
Wait, we'll be there. We'll bring some of these.
Yeah, there'll be
We'll be
best
running
friends,
around.
necklaces. There will be
We're
Tom
definitely going
Patterson's
to that.
beautiful, curly, long, flowing hair. He's really sad that he couldn't be here, but
Yeah, Tom.
if
If you
want
guys
to see
haven't
a really
seen,
amazing drummer, go see Tom.
and in all seriousness, if you haven't seen Slingshot Dakota live, you have to. It's such a fun. Like you get that. This is what Music Fest is all
Yeah.
about when you're watching you play.
It's awesome.
So,
We have a good time.
Thank you so much
for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you. We know it's not an easy musician lifestyle to do all these things, but thank you. It's awesome. You make the city, you make the community a better place, and we will be there on Thursday at 7 p.m.
yes, thank you, Carly.
Thank you.
so
Thank you.
much.
Yep, absolutely.
Let's go Mets.
Yes. Whoa.
I'm gonna switch the schedule up a little bit because we got gyros waiting on the side, and we want to bring them on. So if Theo's
Come on.
gyros can come up. Do we have another seat we can give them? Perhaps.
We have some samples here for you.
Oh boy.
We have a chocolate cheesecake.
Oh.
Our new product, and then our gyro.
Oh wow.
So-
Here.
Here's some treats. There you go.
Sit.
Why don't you guys sit for like 5 minutes and let's make sure that
we got to hear about Theo's. We got to hear where you guys are at and things like that. So first of all, welcome. Thank you. Thank you for coming at one of the Music Fest institutions.
Yes.
Theo's Gyros. So maybe you guys can just talk for a minute about why you like coming to Music Fest.
So we've been here for 39 years.
Wow.
39.
That's
We've
just
established
39.
A great customer base. We have so many people from out of the state that come just for us, and obviously for Music Fest.
Sure.
And they'll come to us. They say right when they come to us, they feel like they started their Music Fest. So yeah, but Music Fest is amazing. Where else can you go where you could just drink and have fun and listen to free entertainment? Truly, it's amazing. It's such a good time. Such a good time.
So I don't know this, and what is the history of Theo's Gyros? Can you give us?
So we started, oh goodness, like 45 years.
Wow.
My father started back, on Broad Street,
years.
right here in Bethlehem.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, I
It's-
was a little girl, walked up the hill and went to the gyro shop and played my Pac-Man. my father made gyros, but yeah, it's
Well, it's
we
just
started there.
to do anything
and-
for that long, you know?
yeah.
Geez.
We have an amazing product. We really do. Yeah. And we then branched out to Quakertown Farmers Market, and we've been there for 36 years.
I'm a big fan of Q-Mart.
Yeah,
Always-
yeah.
You have to hit a Theo's Gyro when you go down there. And then
Definitely.
you said 39 years with Music Fest. I guess you weren't part of that decision 39 years ago, but why is it always make sense to come back and be a part of it?
Well, you want to take it?
Not really, but listen, Music Fest for us is like one big family.
Yeah.
Like they introduced our parents to it, and our parents loved it and got along with everybody. And they're great people. It's a great organization, and we've been here ever since. My sister and I have taken over. Unfortunately, our parents passed away. It's great memories.
And it is one of the things that makes Music Fest so special are the small businesses, and we know it's an incredible, it's a big task for you and your staff. It is the type of thing that as small businesses, even the successful ones, it just takes a lot out of you. It takes a lot of your staff members, but it's also, like we said, it's not just the music, it's the food that gets people down here. As I said, I mean, you've got people come from out of state that are like, I got to come back for a gyro. I got to come back for or more than one.
Yeah.
So-
This does an absolutely amazing job picking their vendors,
yeah.
and there's a lot of great food out here.
Yeah.
We are one of the top vendors, by the way.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's why you're here.
Absolutely.
Almost, what is it, 39 years?
39 years.
Yeah.
And where are you guys located at if people want to come get a gyro?
Quakertown Farmers Market.
Here at Music Fest.
I'm so sorry. Main Street.
Okay.
And then Plaza.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you really can't avoid it.
two
We have
locations.
locations, yes.
Yeah.
So there's no way to avoid a Theo's gyro. And wait, I say gyro. Is that the correct spelling? How should people actually say it? Am I saying it incorrectly?
Oh my goodness, that is
Is it gyro?
a question
Is
that
it-
I hear all the time. So you can say gyro, which is the Greek way of saying it,
Okay.
and gyro is just the English version.
So like
that's all.
if
It's
I
just
say
a translation.
gyro, you don't look at me and go, ugh.
No, I
You're
promise I'll
good?
still give you
Okay.
gyro. I say gyro actually. So
Oh, okay, good.
I know some people get like, they're like, oh, it's a gyro. I'm like,
Oh, I've had people correct me and
Have
say
you?
it. Yes. I'm like,
Well,
I
it's
don't
hard
know.
to say, though.
I'm just I'm eating it. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's
Believe
delicious.
it or not, I've had people correct me too, and I tell them, just give me $14. You can call it whatever.
Theo's gyros actually answered a trivia question that I've never told anybody this before. Is when my wife and I were first dating, like 7 years ago. It was the first thing that she ate when we were at Musikfest together. Like we had only been dating for like a month or so, and it was just like our first time down to Musikfest, and she's just like, "I'm gonna go get a gyro from
That's why
Theo's."
she married you.
I'm just saying it's got that small place there, but yeah. She would joke around that I wasn't that I didn't get one because I like wasn't hungry, and so it's like it's got this whole place in our relationship. She's like, "Why didn't you get a gyro when I got one?" So then it's a story.
We do hear that.
Yeah.
It is awesome.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah, absolutely. So that you got that little spot in our relationship history
I
too.
had a customer that came to us and said that her friend had never had a gyro and she wanted to bring him to the right place. And he had the gyro and I said, please come back and let me know what you think. 2 seconds later, he's like, oh my God, this is amazing. Like, I'm just so happy I had your gyro. And I said, it's your first gyro. You have to start right.
I'm sure you guys are super busy, but do you ever get a chance to kind of walk around as well? Or like, is there anything you like? I mean, I'm sure it's kind of tough to do
We're
that.
so
but-
busy. We really don't get too much of a break, but
Sure.
we do. We walk around and it's awesome. It really is. Like the music.
You should check out
the
Slingshot
people.
Dakota on Thursday at 7 o'clock.
Yay!
Zins and Blood.
My sister has me tied down to the stand, so I really can't go anywhere.
Right,
Okay.
I got
right.
ball and chain.
We should bring the music to you one night and
Oh,
just
I
like
love
play
that.
out in front, you know, for the vendors.
Donnie's really lucky because you get the street vendors too, or the street entertainment,
Yeah.
and they're
Yeah.
really good. And
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
But
So-
that's awesome, and we always tell people that even though the musicians are, even though it's free for you to come and watch, like they're getting paid.
Mm-hmm.
Like we need to support them, and
Right.
I always say is like you don't have to go down there to Musikfest and spend hundreds and hundreds. Just buy one gyro, buy one lemonade,
Or
buy
anything, or
buy one
anything.
beer, like
Just
buy
as-
one
yeah.
from something because that's what allows Musikfest to pay the artist to be able to keep 99% of the shows for free, and it also supports you guys. Like you are our neighbors. You know, it is. You know, we were talking about this before with like the folks from Taste Smokers. Is like you have lives, you have families. Like this is about you guys and supporting you and meeting where you are and being respectful of your staff and understanding that you're making a big sacrifice by coming down there to be able to add to the festival as well. So thank you for being such a Music Fest institution.
And it's good for people to support official vendors, you know,
Yeah.
and because that's how they really do pay for the entertainment. And the entertainment's awesome. It's really good.
Yep.
It really is.
Yep.
We have amazing bands, you know,
Yes.
and the music's amazing. Like we sit and I could hear it and I'm like, wow, this is good. Like I pay for this.
Yes, you absolutely
that's
do.
great.
So absolutely.
So are you going to take it? You want to take a bite or we're going to do that afterwards? These are not going to
All right.
waste.
I think I've watched this enough that I think we have to take
Yeah.
a bite on air.
Okay, so I
Yes.
have two.
Oh, I'm glad they brought two because
Oh yeah.
I would defer to the mayor.
Oh,
but-
look at this! Look at this! Look at this!
If you're watching at home, eat your heart out. 'Cause-
Oh, they're gonna love this.
oh my God. Yep.
His wife is going to be jealous now. His wife-
She's like, you won't eat it with me, but you'll eat it on
We'll
TV.
make one for your wife.
We'll be down on Wednesday,
Sorry, Natalie, I'm eating yours.
so I'll make sure.
Aw, you come down, I'll give you
She's
one.
definitely working right now, but when she sees this,
We're not going to be happy. All right.
no, this is fantastic.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thanks.
Thank you,
Would you
thank
like
you.
to try our new item for this year? We have baklava cheesecake for all the baklava lovers and cheesecake. It's 2 in 1. It's amazing. It really is. It's just a beautiful beautiful.
I'm gonna eat it after I eat my gyro. That's the order I got. That's the order I got to take it in.
Yeah.
And I brought a fork and a napkin for you.
Hey, Dolly, you want to try this cheesecake? She's eating the gyro.
She's eating the gyro.
Okay, we have to do. I'll make sure.
Amazing job right now. Amazing job. Thank you.
Thank you. My wife just texted me, good day. Wait till I tell her what's going on. Yeah. So okay.
All right. If I continue to eat this, we're gonna be here all day.
People don't want to watch. They'll
I don't
watch
wanna-
us take one bite, 2 bites, but we can't eat the whole thing.
Do you
They're
want?
gonna get
Do you want me to?
Yeah,
we'll
just
put
slide
this
it
to
over.
the side.
We will
Here, why
we'll
don't
eat
we
it as soon as this is over.
cover this up?
But thank you. But anyway, thank you.
so much for bringing us on.
Absolutely. Theo's Gyros Musikfest Institution, 2 different places, Main Street and then down by Plaza Tropical. So please go down there. There's a line, but it's worth it because best gyros you're going to find.
I'd like to thank Musikfest 2024.
Absolutely.
Great year again. Let's have at it. And our customers, thank you for supporting us all these
Absolutely.
years.
Okay.
And thank you guys for making these incredibly tasty gyros.
Yeah.
Because it's just,
Thank
you know, people wouldn't be coming back if they weren't as delicious as they were. So.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much. Thank
very
you.
much.
We appreciate it.
Okay.
All right, we'll
Sounds
see you
good.
guys down there.
Thank you.
Theo! Oh my God, I had two.
Stay cool.
Stay cool.
Yeah, stay cool out there.
I had 2 bites and I want to take a nap. Oh my God. it's so
Okay.
good. All right. So, unfortunately, all great things have to come to an end.
Yes.
Wes and Nicole. Wes, you've been up here, so we're gonna have Nicole, but you can still come up, but we'll give Nicole the seat.
Oh, here, you can sit there, Nicole. Absolutely.
Let me put this back up there.
Okay.
'cause you were not-
So, Nicole, you're one of the Liberty students?
Liberty graduate.
Oh, you grabbed.
Oh,
Graciously coming back.
congratulations. Congratulations. That's fantastic. So you just graduated?
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad that you were able to. I know that summer after you graduate is always a busy summer. Probably a lot going on. A lot of working. Wow.
Well, your mom said you're working at Wawa.
Yeah.
Is that? I mean, that's like my dream job, to be honest. I wish I grew up around a Wawa because that would be definitely a place that I would like to work. So how is summer going? What are your plans for post graduation?
So I'm going to college. I'm going to Musikfest.
All right, great.
Studying Asian studies.
Okay.
Fantastic.
Awesome.
Okay. And
music though, there's got to be some music part of your future.
Oh, yeah. In college, I'm playing in the band and orchestra, but I'm still gonna sing and stuff.
Awesome. Do you want to just tell us before we hear you? Do you want to just tell us a little bit about your musical journey? How you got into guitar and everything?
Yeah. So I guess it started when I learned an instrument for elementary school, which was trumpet. And then I just kind of went on from there. Then I learned piano.
Did you take lessons for piano, like from personal? I'm asking because I want to get my daughter into exactly what you're doing.
So piano, I actually taught myself, but by ear, I can't.
Oh my goodness.
Oh wow.
I don't recommend that.
Yeah,
guitar,
because it's impossible. It's great.
But guitar, I taught myself.
Awesome.
I think lessons are really helpful.
Yeah.
Sure.
I kind of wish I took those.
Yeah.
You can work on that later.
Yeah. You got time.
Doing fine
You're
now.
18 years old. You got some time here. So, but anyway, so we're here. We got your guitar. George and I are gonna step off here so you can kind of play. You got the microphone, but thanks for joining us. And absolutely, it's all yours.
So Nicole Loconte, formerly of Liberty Jams, coming back to.
Still of Liberty Jam.
Oh, still up. Okay.
It's like the collective. You're always part of the dead. Yeah.
Whenever you're ready, you're good. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Why don't we call it for what it is? Can't remember the last time we kissed, and it tickled my heart. I think that it's best that we spend time apart. I just yawn, listening to you talk about yourself again and again. I'm bored of this life. just waits today to be interesting. Baby, keep talking, but nobody's listening. Told me to walk out the door, but baby, I'm bored. Did you know I went to my room last night? Bet you didn't know you make me cry. 'Cause you're so self-possessed. Charming at first, but you made me depressed. So I'm leaving in the morning. 'Cause I'm bored, bored of this love. Oh, I'm bored of this talk, and maybe you're just way too vain to be interesting. Baby, keep talking, but nobody's listening. Told me to walk out the door, but baby, I'm bored. You followed me out and said, darling, don't leave. Your passionate monologue woke up the street. Oh, Mary, someday you're perfect for me. I got in my car just to drown at your plea. 'Cause I'm bored, bored of this love. Oh, I'm bored, bored of this talk, and maybe you're just way too vain to be interesting. Baby, keep talking, but nobody's listening. Told me to walk out the door, but baby, I'm bored.
All right. Thank you so much.
Yes, that was awesome. That was awesome.
Nicole, are you going to be also performing? Are you going to be also performing with them at?
Yeah.
Okay. And remind us, Wes, when? Come on over. Wes, remind us when Liberty Jams is playing again.
Yeah, so it's Saturday from 3 to 4 p.m. in the Jazz Cabaret stage. They're not playing jazz. That's just a coincidence. Which is indoors.
Not
so
that there's anything wrong with that.
No, it could break out into jazz.
Yeah.
Clear about what?
Yeah.
It's a rock show.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
Jazz Cabaret stage, so it's indoors, air conditioned, all of that good stuff.
Awesome. But that's it was fantastic. And we were talking before about just how cool Liberty Jams is, and how it's a cool program, and how it gives people an opportunity to do what you do, and just it's awesome. So thank you for coming by, and we'll be there on Saturday at 3 p.m.
3 o'clock.
All right.
But no jazz.
No jazz.
Just no.
Rock and roll.
No, absolutely. Okay.
Well,
Thank you.
make sure Nicole gets some Fest Friends thing.
Yes.
Our Fest Friends.
We got
there
it.
you go.
Here it
All
is.
right.
Here it is. There you take
Thank
that with
Thank
you.
you so much. Wow, this has been 2 hours already. Big thank you to everybody who has been on. Kassie Hilgert, Taste Smokers, John Bloys, Carly Commando, Wes and Nicole. Who else did we have on
Theo's
here?
Gyros.
Yes. Thank you to everybody who made this possible, and to Musikfest.
Absolutely, another great day. The sun is shining. Everybody get down to Musikfest.
Or come out. We haven't really even mentioned we're on the stage at City Hall.
We
this
are.
is Stott Plot, so what you see behind us, it's even a better view during a concert.
Yes.
So if you haven't been here, it's a must.
It's amazing. It's amazing. Like all of Musikfest. So once again, thank you to all of our guests. Thank you to everybody that's come down in the first couple of days.
Yeah.
We will be down here ourselves as much as we can be. And George, I guess that's a wrap on our third annual Musikfest podcast.
Here, Crystal, now you can kind of turn that over to them.
Yeah.
And see if we can. Woo! Thank you, everybody. Thank you. We'll see you. We'll see you down at Music Fest and see you next year.
Yay!
Yay!
Okay.